So last year, in November, we released a report where we tried to get an overview of the ecosystem in the Nordics for defense tech. And this proved to be actually a bit of a harder task than we had anticipated. One, it's quite fragmented, this whole landscape, and also many of the companies tend to go stealth before they're actually publicly announced. And one of the reasons they go stealth is because when you operate in this, you can actually become a strategic target for adversaries. And we're seeing a trend of many entrepreneurs actually jumping into starting defense tech companies, but maybe in some cases they haven't really thought of what actually happens when I become a strategic asset to the military. How does my own security look like? So if you look at the different segments, you have health, for example, where exoskeletons is very much being tested and used in some cases. You have advanced materials such as nanotechnologies being focused on. Space is one of the biggest sectors where we're seeing most of the investments coming in. Of course, satellite communication goes without saying is a very useful technology for the military.
Space.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Continue investing. Quantum and semiconductors, and that's specifically for cryptography, for example. A lot of the communications is classified, so you have to have a good cryptography for that. There's of course a small segment of actual kinetic pure defense companies making weapons and such, not receiving as much investments as the other sectors. You have cybersecurity, which is, I mean, most of the systems we're utilizing in the military now are in some way connected, and you need to secure that in some way. So this is a huge area where we're seeing a lot of investments as well. You have robotics and technology, automated technology. Most of you have probably seen drones being used in Ukraine and automated systems for that. So autonomy is a huge area within this. And of course energy. And the reason why we're seeing so much being spent into technology is that war is a numbers game. It boils down to economics. So if you're able to produce a drone that can strike a M1 Abrams tank, that costs you, the drone costs you $1,000 and the tank costs $10 million. That's a very effective way of destroying your adversary's tanks, for example. Same goes with using drones, so big reapers that can do ground attacks instead of using fighter jets, and also underwater unmanned systems that cost roughly $5 million instead of $500 million for a submarine. They can both target the submarines, but also do reconnaissance, for example. So we're seeing huge investments in Ukraine, for example, and development in the drone space. I spoke with a former colleague of mine that has been down to Ukraine now, and they say about 2 weeks is the lifetime of the technology before you find countermeasures for that technology. So the development is going super fast. When we look at the investments being made in the Nordics, we can see that 50% of investments being made in early stage companies come from Nordic investors. But when it comes to the later stages, it actually falls back, and the US investors are the most prominent. So there's actually quite a big gap of VC funds being able to invest in this segment. And the main reason for this, we believe, is that many of the firms that do want to invest in defense don't have the mandate to do so. So this is something that really needs to change. So to summarize, the report that we had is that the Nordics are still in very early stages. So we found about 130 defense tech companies in the Nordics. Finland was actually where it was the most companies created, and this was back in November. So I'm hoping when we release the next report in November again that we will see a shift, Sweden coming up a bit. The interest of investments is luckily increasing, and I think much due to all the big investments being made from the EU, for example, and NATO. Areas such as space and quantum computing is sort of the darlings of investments. So we're seeing huge amounts of money being spent there. And the VCs are primarily focusing on deep tech sectors and also the civilian application or dual use aspects of it. So finding companies that have big dual use potential, and dual use being that you have both a civilian context and a military context. So take GPS, for example, would have both of those. And like I said, most VCs now have a civilian first approach and see the defense part as a sort of ancillary business. It's nice to have, but it's not their focus. And one of the reasons for this is also that when you are a defense company, you have quite limited amount of customers. It's typically the military that is your customer. So that is why we're seeing this.